Hey everyone, welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 221, Bowser's Fury. We are back. Sorry, last week we weren't able to have a new episode, but we're back tonight, and we're so grateful for you guys to be joining us. There is already conversation going on in the live chat room, so that's so awesome. We're going to get to that in just a little bit, but before we do any of that, it's time for introductions, because maybe you're brand new to the podcast, and you're like, I don't even know who I'm listening to right now. I don't know who I'm watching. My name is Steve. But of course, I am not here alone. I am also joined by two of my great friends here that we just love getting together every week to talk video games and in between as well. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve, always a pleasure. Glad to be back. Glad to have you back. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
For sure. And also, of course, joined by Greg. Hey, Greg.
Hey, everyone. Just glad to be here. I always love talking games with you guys, and it's already super hyped for tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, so if you haven't heard the news, we're going to jump into it a little bit later, but we finally have a Nintendo Direct. It's not a rumor anymore. It's actually happening. It's going to be happening tomorrow, so we're going to jump into some predictions just a little bit later in today's episode. Also going to talk a lot about our experience with Bowser's Fury and, of course, Super Mario 3D World too, but mostly Bowser's Fury because that's the new content. But yeah, there's some other interesting information that's come up the last couple weeks that we're going to be talking about. Some different news around some new NES and SNES games that come to Switch Online. Also talking about Nintendo and Microsoft teaming up on something. What's that all about? Also, just a quick reminder and some discussion around the My Nintendo membership stuff and on the pin set and things like that. So we're going to get into all that just a little bit later on. But before we jump into any of that, we just want to thank you guys for being here. If you are tuning in live, feel free to jump in the chat room. We'd love to see just what you think about any of the things that we're talking about tonight, whether it be what you've been playing, what your experience with those games has been like, or any of the news that we talk about, predictions. I already see a lot of Jared's gigantic wall of predictions that he's already put in there, which is awesome. We're definitely going to get to that, so we'll have to scroll back up at that point. But yeah, thanks, Jared, for throwing those in there. And yeah, if you guys have any predictions for the Nintendo Direct as well, we'd love to see those as well and read through those. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in. If you haven't hit that bell, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, if you haven't hit the like button, any of those things, that's just a huge help to us. So be sure to do that, and also share this podcast with other gamers out there who would probably also enjoy this kind of content. But it is now time to jump into what we've been playing lately, and as I said, we're gonna chat a little bit more about Bowser's Fury. But what else have you been up to, Barry? What else beyond Bowser's Fury have you been playing?
Yes. All right. So, well, on the Switch, I have been playing Bowser's Fury. That is absolutely one of the things I did. I've also been doing Animal Crossing, and just been pretty much doing a little bit every day. And then Festival was yesterday, and I had a wonderful little rant because of how absurd that event was, because it was something so simple, and Nintendo totally Nintendo'd it up by forcing you to trade each item one at a time, proceeding with a wonderful dialogue box and dance and stuff that was completely non-skippable. You had to see it every time. And then after for every 9 trades, they made you get another float, which was great the first time because the float was the exclusive item, but now I have 3 floats to get all the sets. No need for these floats. Thank you. Why am I forced to do this every time? But yeah, I mean, it was I guess a fun event. I'm sure some people enjoyed it, but it felt like the things you give kids to keep them busy so you could have a moment's rest. That's what it felt like. Sure enough, it kept me busy, but not having fun. But I did it. Also, I played a little bit of Sword of the Necromancer, which I did kickstart, and I was really impressed with the game. It's like a Zelda, 2D Zelda roguelike, and then I proceeded to be very disappointed with the game right after I started to enjoy it because I died. and I started out at level 1, and I got to the boss at level 5, and I died, and it put me back at level 3. So I'm like, all right, that kind of sucks. So I started going back again, got to the boss at level 5 again, almost beat him, died, and this time it put me at level 2. I was like, what? And I lost everything. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm done. This is just, nope, not fun. I don't like abstract rogue games like that punish you for dying, and there's no rhyme or reason on what keeps and what doesn't keep. So it was not for me. On the PS4 5 side, Ys 9 Monstrum Nox came out, and that is coming to the Switch soon. Played through that game, absolutely loved it. I love the Ys games, and if you've never tried the Ys games and you like Zelda, you are doing yourself a very big disservice by not playing the Ys games. They are fantastic. You can get a couple of them on the Switch, and again, Ys 9 is coming to the Switch a little bit later this year. Truly awesome game. A lot of fun. It's like it's almost like Breath of the Wild meets Spider-Man in a sense too. It's really cool. PC, Final Fantasy XIV had quite a big update, so I've been doing a lot of grinding for my relic weapon. Never fun, but stuff I'm doing. But I am having fun in the game, just socializing, and that is really where I do tend to talk to a lot of people. And mobile, I'm still doing Dragalia Lost, still very much enjoying it, even if it's like older events now, but I did enjoy the Persona 5 event, which ended between podcasts. And again, unlike Greg, still enjoying Mario Kart Tour.
I love how he calls you out every time and not me.
Yeah, now I have to. Well, no, because Greg quit it, so.
It's true. I guess every once in a while I still open it up, so I guess that's one step above you, Greg. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick because we got some people talking there what they've been playing lately. Looks like Jared's been playing Control on PS5, and then Bowser's Fury and the usual Pokemon Go, Mario Kart Mobile, Animal Crossing, and he also agrees with you about Barry about Festival.
Good, I'm not alone.
Hassan's in there and said he played a little bit of 3D World and Among Us, but mostly Fortnite. And then Jakester's been doing this regular FGO, the Valentine's event, Genshin Impact, which started a new event the other day. He's been playing with some friends, which has been really a fun tower defense minigame, which is cool. And then Dave says he's been playing Judgment and Bowser's Fury. And Jakester also says tried Little Nightmares 2 demo. Certainly not his game. Did play Among Us with some fellow Twitch streamers as well. So that's cool. Lots of Bowser's Fury was in there for sure, but there's a lot of different games that you guys have been playing, which is awesome to hear. Greg, what have you been up to over the last couple weeks?
Yeah, so surprisingly, I had an extra week. I didn't have that many more games to add in this time. So, primarily still doing Animal Crossing, doing all the different dailies, still buying turnips and everything along those lines, hitting rocks every day, collecting the bottles for recipes. I was just pointed to that app in our Discord. Shout out to Minda for recommending that. So now I have to see how much I can collect and how much stuff I'm actually missing. So that's fun there. I wasn't trying to get all the different colors for Festival, so I definitely wasn't experiencing the problem that Barry was having. So I don't know if you're meant to get the 10 of every item or whatever, all the different colors of it, but
yeah, 9
the rainbow
items.
set was good enough for me.
Nice.
And so other than that, the main heavy hitter that I've been doing a ton of is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I did beat the story since last podcast. And then I've been jumping in and did Alamar's comeback story. That was also really fun to play through. And then in addition, I was doing the Oliver's like a reassignment or like that newer one that's like the post-game story for Alamar. So I've only got a few levels left on that one, but I've been primarily getting like gold and platinum medals for the most part. With I think maybe a couple silver here or there. It's been a lot of fun going through it, and the game will be going back this week, so I've got to try to finish that up. I did get all 66 fruits. So that's and the main story there. So that was very fun to play that game. I really enjoyed my time with it. Also, been doing some Pokemon Sword with the McDonald's promotion. My daughter's been more into wanting to play Pokemon, so then I had to catch her a Pikachu for her account. She also managed to get an Eevee as well. Then I also got a Pikachu on my own, and then I'm trying to train him up to right before the second gym, so I have an advantage over the water. Hopefully that I'm reading that right. I didn't read into the effectiveness as well. Very surprising entry is played a little bit of Animal Crossing New Leaf for the 3DS. So my daughter got this big sticker book, like 800 some Animal Crossing stickers, and it was more made for New Leaf. They didn't have any like New Horizon stuff mentioned in it, so made her want to get the game and then download it for $20 from the eShop and the 3DS. So I had fun setting up her town there. Then still doing Fire Emblem Heroes on like Barry, who gave up over 2 years ago.
Damn straight I did.
Touche there.
Yep. And then I was just doing some regular 3D World on the Wii U right before the podcast, so not the Switch version.
All right, cool. Yeah, and so for me, it's been a pretty light last couple of weeks in terms of like the variety of games. It's basically just been Rocket League and Bowser's Fury, a little bit of 3D World as well, but that's pretty much the only two games that I've stuck with over the last couple of weeks. I think I probably played a little bit of Spider-Man on PS4, maybe before what was supposed to be the last podcast, but it's been a while since I've really touched that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. I'm like solidly in like for Rocket League in the middle of platinum rank. Hopefully getting closer and closer to diamond. We'll see. Hopefully at some point I'll be ranking up there, and that's pretty exciting. But other than that, Bowser's Fury. So I think it's time to jump in to talk about Bowser's Fury a little bit and see what we're thinking. So, as Greg said, you didn't get a chance to play it yet, but Greg, as far as like as we talk about this, I think it'd be fun. Maybe if you have any questions for us, since we played it, might kind of help just kind of add to the conversation, since kind of that little bit of outsider's perspective and wanting to know, what things do you want to know because you haven't played it yet, or if you guys haven't played it in the chat, we'd love to know what your questions are as well. Yeah, so if you haven't, for some reason didn't know what's going on in the whole like Nintendo world, Nintendo re-released Super Mario 3D World recently. Was it like 3-4 days ago, something like that?
Yeah, a couple days.
And added in Bowser's Fury with this with the game as well, so it's not just a re-release. Also added into this new mode, and so yeah, it's all about Bowser basically taking control of this area and becoming this Giga Bowser, gigantic Bowser form, and just kind of unleashing havoc on this world, I guess, is the simplest way of putting it. And that all comes as an extra mode for the game. And so you can play it pretty much right from the very beginning of the game. And so what I did when I got into it is I played through the first world of Super Mario 3D World, because you just like naturally launched right into that game first. And so I did that in the beginning. But then after I finished world, like the end of world 1 or whatever the castle is at the beginning of that, then I quit that, and then I went back into Bowser's Fury, and that's pretty much all I've done since then. I have not completed the game yet. I've gotten a few hours into it. I think I'm at 30 cat shines right now. The next like mark I need to hit, I think, is 40. So I'm not sure where that is in terms of completion of the game, but that's kind of where I am. Barry, did you 100%ed it, didn't you?
Yeah. So I don't know where that is actually either, because what I did is I did every cat shine I could before beating, Fury Bowser
Oh,
each of the 3 times. Because you do have to fight Fury Bowser 3 times, and when you beat him each time, it opens up more of the map. And when you beat him the third time, you beat the game. But then you don't really beat the game, because then new cat shines appear and some new objectives, and one of the worlds you went to actually like opens up with some new objectives, and there's a bunch of little post game stuff to get the 100, and then you beat it again to get the final. But Jared says you need 50 to beat the game.
okay.
So that's fair. I think I beat the game with like 77, I think, something like that. And then I went back and did the rest. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a ton of fun. I like how each of I call them worlds, but they're more like little sections. They have 5 cat shines in each. There's like 3 of them are objective based, so you have to like leave the world and come back, and it like resets, almost like jumping into the painting again and choosing a different star. And then one of the shines is finding the 5 little mini cat shines, and then the last one is always hidden behind blocks that only Bowser can break. So you have to have Fury Bowser destroy the stuff for you. I'd say my biggest complaint is Fury Bowser coming in at the most inopportune times. A lot of times, like I almost wish you could just turn him off and only come and summon him when you really want him, because sometimes it's like, oh my god, right, not right now. But at the same time, the music is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The music in this game is amazing. But a lot of people describe it this way, and I agree. It's like 3D World and Odyssey had a child with a little sunshine thrown in there. Maybe he was the mailman or something. I don't know. But it's really unique, and there's some frustrating parts. I will say, I was swearing up and down. There's one where you have to use that stupid ice skating with the literally jump in the giant ice skate, and you got to collect the blue coins. And I was swearing up and down, like, oh my god, this, because that thing controls like ass. I'm just gonna say it out there. It is terrible in control. And you gotta and if you miss them, you gotta try to go back, and it's timed. It's not just like getting the blue coins. That would be one thing, but it's timed. And I wound up beating it, but I wound up like cheesing it, because I realized, I'm like, oh, this, like, the middle section was the real problem for me. And I realized I could just run. I said, screw the skate. I just ran and did the middle section. And then I tried to run and do the last section, and I ran out of space. I'm like, oh no. But I realized there's an ice skate there. So I like did the ice skate in the first section, jumped off, did the middle section as just Mario, and then got in the last ice skate and was able to do it. I'm like, after an hour of trying to do that one damn thing, I wound up finding a cheese. So that to me was absolutely the hardest in the game, and it's just because of the ice skating control. Otherwise, I'll say the game is not terribly difficult, but it is a lot of fun. And there's no lives. There's like, you can die as many times as you want. Coins only give you a random power up when you get 100. I love the power up system. I love that you can just summon power ups whenever you need. You could store up to 5 each. And there's actually, I don't know if you did this or not, Steve, but there's actually a hidden power up from the ones that it shows you on the bottom left.
Yep.
There's actually an extra one that you can store. I'm not going to spoil it, but there is an extra one you could store up to 5
I got it
as well.
early on.
Oh no, they're hidden, but you can get them. But a lot of times when you get it, you just use it. But if you switch to another thing, it actually stores, and it adds an extra.
Right. I think I was surprised that I got that hidden one early on. I guess I thought it was going to be like be a certain length, maybe an hour into the game or something like that, and I felt it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 cat shines into the game. I felt I got it.
I think there's one hidden in the first world area. So
I may have just happened to get it.
I think so, probably.
Yeah.
Did you play portably or docked?
No, I've been playing docked the whole time. Yeah, I didn't even. So yeah, these other modes like portable or even like multiplayer and stuff like that, I haven't even touched. Yeah. So. I don't know about you, like Bowser Jr. Did you set him to like always be active or never active? Or I put a little.
Something.
Yeah, because I wasn't
put all the time.
Did you have all the time?
Just let him break down.
I wasn't sure. Like I didn't want it to be like terribly easy for me, because I wasn't sure what all he would do. And so I was like, just just a little bit would be good. And I feel like he helps a lot, even when you said to a little bit. Because he's taken out enemies for me. He's like pointing to things that I need to pay attention to, stuff like that, and it's saved my butt several times actually when I was about to make a wrong move, and he just takes out the enemy that was about to sneak out behind me.
How did either of you guys
really
get to do like the co-op then, like with somebody else controlling Bowser Jr.?
No, I haven't tried it
yet.
Yeah. One thing that I did notice, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Barry, I know you also struggle with this at times. Did you ever get sick playing it? I feel like
honestly, this one I didn't.
Really, I was getting a little, like, the longer I played, the more I was like, oh, okay, like, and I think it's a little bit of the camera, and I don't know what it is. It's a little jarring. It's not I don't know what it is, because it's not horrible camera control, but there's something that just feels a little bit off to me, and I can't place it. And because of that, I don't know. I may need to control, like, I do like they have controls over your camera, so I may just need to make it move faster, because I think right now it's on the slowest setting, and so it doesn't rotate nearly as fast as I want it to when I do try to spin it around. So I think I just need to change that, and that might fix it for me. But it is nice that they have those controls. I mean, you have the ability to invert your controls right from the beginning.
Unlike games like Luigi's Mansion 3, like what the
Right. Yeah. So what do you think about the overall idea of the game, like how they went about? It's a little more open world, it's a little more like that kind of style. Bowser does come in, sometimes, like you said, at inopportune moments. So, like, because I know we were kind of discussing how, as the more we found out about that mode, we were kind of excited, and then not so much, and then kind of in the middle. So now that you've experienced all of it, what do you think of that style of game?
I mean, I like it. I do wish there was a way to, have Bowser come more when you want him to, but I mean, I understand the mechanic of it. I will say that I really enjoyed the open world. I like how it's broken up. Each, like, in the island is like its own little, like, Mario 64 painting, but much smaller. Like, you're not getting, I think there's like 12 islands plus a lot of little ones. And it's not like, well, it's like 12 levels out of like the 15 Mario 64. Like, no, these are significantly smaller than Mario 64 levels. Mm-hmm. This is like the open area Bomb Bomb Battlefield without the mountain part is like one of them. So there's a lot to it, and it's interesting the way they make the challenges. But a lot of them are quick. They're like, 20-second challenges, race to the finish kind of deal. But I like that. I like that it didn't overstay its welcome. I will say, while I wish it was longer, just because I was having a lot of fun, and I did it really quickly, and I didn't want to stop, and I definitely wish there was more. I also think it's a good length. There's a pick up and play, and I know I've seen some people like, it's not enough to justify $60, and I argue, I think it is, because I did have a lot of entertainment just in that one mode, and I had fun, and I've played many a $60 games that I did not have fun, or that were shorter, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed this in that period of time. So, and that's not even touching 3D World, because I didn't touch 3D World. I mean, I beat it completely on the Wii U, and I love that game too. So if you've never played it, it's a no-brainer. This is absolutely a no-brainer. But if you have played 3D World, I've heard there's a lot of good fixes to it, like the speed. But if you're curious about Bowser Fury, I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm kind of interested to see where we go. Like, is Odyssey 2 going to be, or with the next one going to be more like Odyssey? Is it going to be more like this?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I agree with the time as well. Like, I was actually surprised at how long I've been playing the game. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, 3 hours, that's going to pass like really quickly. And I'm still enjoying the game, and I've got, like I said, I've only got 30 cat shines, so I've got a lot more to do in the game, and I don't feel like it overstayed its welcome. I also don't feel like it's way too short either. But like you said, I mean, that's only one mode. I mean, that's like 3D World itself is a big game. So like to get that plus Bowser's Fury that's a pretty good deal for $60 and 50
Do you
if
think
you
you're
buy at
gonna
Walmart.
100%? You
I
gonna
don't know.
100% Bowser's Fury?
I might.
Oh.
Just because like normally I don't 100% games because that involves like, the 30 more hours on top of the 100 hours you put into a game. But to go, from 3 to like 6 or 7, that's not too bad.
I will also tell you this: when you beat the game, regardless of how many shines you have, you gain some great quality of life improvements. Where when you bring up the map, not only can you teleport to any of the gates, any of the island gates,
Oh.
at a whim, but it'll also show you where all the shines are you're missing. Like it will say, like there'll be a flag, like, oh, you need to go here. There's one hidden here, and
So it
so
makes it
it
easier.
helps tracking it much easier to get the 100. It's like, oh, I'm at 99 out of 100. Where is it? Let me just sail around the ocean praying I come across it. Like,
Right.
no, you'll know exactly where it is. So I think that does make it a lot easier and digestible to do it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really helpful. Yeah. Yeah. Greg, you got any questions? Anything you're thinking about for the game?
Yeah, no, at least on that last part, I don't know, if it kind of spoils the sense of exploration. I mean, I don't know exactly how big it is, but I don't know if I would want something to say like, oh, here's your last one, like right here. It'd be like if you're playing Odyssey and you just got to see where all the moons are on the entire map at once. I mean, that would be...
That's because they add stuff to the previous areas. So there's like new hidden shines after you beat it in certain areas that weren't there before the first time. But again, you could also, I don't know if you could turn it off, but you could also just not open up the map and just explore that way. If you
I don't really even open the map on a regular basis. Like I think I purposely opened it like maybe twice.
I only opened it at the end of the game, really, just to see where I was missing.
Yeah. So even if you can't turn it off, it's really easy to play the game without even looking at the map.
And a lot of it is obtuse. Like there were a few of them where I'm like, I know it's in this area. Where is it? And like I was hunting, and then I eventually found them. Like, oh, that was clever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not spoiling it.
There's one in particular right now, like the mini ones. I don't know what they're called, just mini cat shines or whatever, that you have to get those to find the big one. There's one, and I still cannot find it. I've looked everywhere in that area. I'm like, where in the world is this thing? And that's usually when I get sick, because I'm spinning the camera around a lot to look up and down and under, and that's usually when I start getting sick, is when I'm doing that sort of thing. But Jared and Dave said it seems like that being able to make the camera a little faster and stuff should be able to help that. So I'm going to try that next time.
There was one of those shines that absolutely drove me crazy. I'm like, where is this? I was looking around for probably about 20 minutes. And then I finally found it when I was like, oh, wait, there's one area that I mentioned the first time I came here. This is kind of weird. Why is this area here? And then I realized, I'm like, oh, there's a hole I've got to fly up into. Like, I totally would have missed that.
Yep, I know exactly which one you're talking about, and that was one of the ones that. And the funny thing was, I had actually tried to fly up there many times before, but I wasn't getting it just right where I needed to fly. And finally, I flipped the camera, and then I was able to see where I was supposed to go.
Yeah, I flew up there, and I'm like, oh, I'm just hitting a wall. And then when I looked up, I'm like, oh, there's one little square. I'm like, oh. So yeah, that one definitely gave me some problems. But like, it wasn't the way that it was like, oh my god, this is impossible. Where is this? It was that aha moment. Like I felt like I accomplished something by finding it. So it's good in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely feels like in some ways, I mean, it's different than like Zelda puzzles, but it's like they're not too hard, but they're just clever enough to like stump you if you're not thinking in a certain way. But then all of a sudden you get it and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that?
Yeah. Apparently I'm not alone either. Jared says the same happened to him. So even without mentioning which one it is or which area it is, like everyone collectively knows.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, is it only Mario in this mode? Because I was kind of wondering.
Yeah.
Or is that spoilish? Okay.
No, that's just Mario in this mode.
Yeah. Or Bowser Jr.
Well, when Bowser. I mean, there is Luigi as like a Fury Luigi that you had to fight, but that's not spoiled. I think they showed that off. It's more like the Shadow Mario from Sunshine kind of deal.
Yeah, and all you get is a cat shine from tracking
Yeah,
him
you get a
down
cat
and beating
shine.
him.
Yeah, Peach is not in this at all.
Yeah. But you do find out a little bit about, without spoilers, the Calico Cat does play a role in it.
Yes, it does. It does.
So
absolutely.
Do you find out, if people were right or not about, that sort of thing. But trying to not avoid spoilers, I guess. But yeah, plays a role.
I almost think that's almost a spoiler.
It's there.
Based on the news topic that we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we talked about, and you know what? I can't believe that it was Link this whole time instead of Daisy. Like, wow, I never would have thought a Calico Cat would represent Link in this game. That is so cool, man. Nintendo's really going all in on this 35th anniversary for Zelda.
Right.
You can be Cat Link.
Yeah, it's great. See, you got to play it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I think it's definitely obvious that I think 3D World on its own was a great game. But to add this in, I think it's definitely, I think we would say it's definitely a must buy for anybody that enjoys Mario games. If you enjoy platformers, you enjoy adventure kind of games, anything like that. Probably, Barry, would you go as far to say this is a must buy for any Nintendo Switch owner, period? Like, even if you're not a big Mario fan? Would you recommend people get it?
I mean, if you're not a big Mario fan, I can still see the appeal here. If you are a big Mario fan, I think it's absolutely worth playing. If you're new to the Switch and you can only get one Mario game right now, I'd still probably say Odyssey if you just want that full 3D or 3D All-Stars. You're getting 3 games that way. But I do think this is a great new direction for the series. I'm interested to see if they expand upon it. And I think that even if you have played 3D World and beaten 3D World, Bowser's Fury has enough content. Even if you just want to rent or you want to wait and get it pre-owned or something like that, it's definitely worth checking out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree for sure. Yeah, I think Odyssey is a better game. I think just the content itself, but the 3D World and Bowser's Fury is still really good, though. I think 3D really World was I think maybe a little bit underrated before, and maybe just because not too many people played it because it was on Wii U. But that game itself is really fun. And then to throw this in, it's it's not perfect, of course. We've shared some things we are not too big fans of, but overall it's been fun to play, and I'm excited to see how it all ends, and what you get when you 100% it and all that stuff. So the good thing is I don't have to wait too long because it is fairly short. So there's a positive about that.
It's interesting how they magically make Yoshi appear on a roof just floating out of nowhere, and he gives you 120 lives when you get 100%. It's so cool how they just pay homage to all these other games.
Yeah, lives that don't count.
That don't count.
That is interesting.
It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Right. It is interesting that they went that direction. Like, you die. What I don't like, I guess it makes sense, but I just realized, I don't like that when you hit the lava, you're gone.
Yeah,
because
no matter what,
so many times, especially in that rotating area, that one wrong move, you're gone.
Oh yes.
But the good thing is you just start back at the beginning there, and you don't lose a whole lot of progress. But it is kind of annoying.
Rotating area gave me a lot of problems getting through that for that first shine too. Just because of the camera angle, a lot of times it's like jumping at that the different perspective, where it's like, oh, I made it. No, I just fell off. No, what? That was. Because the camera doesn't always go right behind you sometimes, or it's hard to do that while on those rotating platforms. So I missed a couple jumps that way.
Yeah,
the isometric kind of view.
Yeah. I think it makes it challenging, but it's also not. It's not super frustrating. It's not like I wanted to rip the game out of there and whatever. But it was more like, I can do this. It's just a little different than I'm used to, but I think I can do this. But yeah, and Jared says Gino pops out of a hole at the end too, and then gives you access to play him in Smash Brothers. It's kind of weird,
Yeah, so
but
cool.
so yeah, definitely high recommendations here from Nintendo Fuse on Bowser's Fury. Seems like you guys are agreeing with us in the chat as well. Jared says one of the power-ups make it super easy. I think the power-ups as a whole, this is not a difficult game. I think it's more for the experience, for sure. They kind of hold your hand a little bit, even the ability to like hold all those power-ups and stuff like that, and it makes it a
I
little
like
easier.
that system, though.
It's
I
not
wish
bad.
every Mario game did that system. I mean, if you think about it, they've been toying with that system. Super Mario World had the extra power up you could hold up in the sky, and Mario 3 had the inventory, where you can choose a power up before going. So it's not something foreign to Mario games.
No. Well, even 3D World allows you to save one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a bad thing, but it's different, and it does make it a tad bit easier, but it doesn't take away from the experience, I don't think, at all.
I don't think people play these open world Mario games for the necessary difficulty spike. It's more for the exploration.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
just what do you discover? I mean, if you want, you're not. If you go into a Mario game expecting it to be Dark Souls for every single level, then you're not playing the right game. That's not to say Mario games aren't challenging, and obviously, like Champions Road and every game is significantly challenging. 3D Worlds is very challenging, but it's one of those things where you go into this not just for fun. I mean, that's just it. This is a different type of game. This isn't the hard, ultra hard, gonna kill you arcade style game. It's just exploration. It's just have fun, see what's around every corner.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I've never really thought about the difference between 2D and 3D Mario games, but that is the point. That's the case. Like I'm challenged by 2D games that I wanna beat it, but 3D games I am more experiencing what's going on. I mean, there's a challenge there, but it's not the same as the 2D standard traditional platformer. It's like I want to experience what's going on here. There's more of a story, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have any questions, Greg? Any?
I was trying to insert some in when I could, but not really a whole lot without trying to make you spoil the entire game and story. I mean, I would really like to play it. I mean, we're just playing the Wii U version right before this, so I definitely think it's in the cards. Just probably not by the time to get the pin set.
Yeah. Well, we definitely recommend it, and hopefully you're able to play it soon, Greg. Time to move on to some other news and discussion about some of the things that have come out recently. We're gonna hit a couple smaller things, and then we'll wrap up, kind of talking about the direct a little bit, so it kind of gives you guys a heads up of where we're going. But first thing that we wanted to talk about is a little game, a little service, I guess. It collects several games in the Switch online service. We got more NES games and SNES games. So actually, not yet. They're supposed to drop tomorrow, February 17th. We got word back on February 9th that we're getting 4 new games coming out. On NES, we're getting Fire and Ice. And on SNES, Super SNES, we're getting Psycho Dream, Doomsday Warrior, and Prehistoric Man. 4 quite random games to be able to get on NES and SNES. So I'd love to what do you guys think about this? Do you know about these games? Are you excited that they're coming, or were you like me and you go, wait, these games exist? What? That's where I was. So Barry, what do you think about these 4 games?
Of them, I mean, Fire and Ice is one of the more expensive NES games, so I think it's great that people get to play it without breaking the bank. And Prehistoric Man, I never played, but I do remember from back in the day. I never saw Doomsday Warrior before. It definitely looks like a mediocre fighter. Psycho Dream is probably the one I'm most excited about, because I think it just looks like a great 2D action game, and we never got it here in America, so it's the first time we're going to be able to play it. So I think it's an interesting selection of games for sure. I mean,
Hmm.
it's certainly not big games, but we just got the DKC trilogy headlining the last three updates. So I think it's nice to give some love to the often forgotten games because there are a lot of
Hmm.
hidden gems, and I'm not saying these are all hidden gems, but it's still there's a history behind them, and you never know. You pop it in, and even if you get 30 minutes of entertainment, you get 30 minutes of entertainment. you know,
It's true.
Back in the day, we paid $80 for some of these games.
That's true. Yeah. Greg, what do you think of these four games?
And I never really even heard of much any of these four, so I was waiting for Barry to be like, "Oh, I have Fire and Ice in my collection in my museum right here." So like, it's a great
No,
game.
I
Type
do
of
not
thing.
have Fire and Ice. I wish I did, but I don't.
Yes, I mean, I might have to load them up just to see what they're all about, but I don't know. As I said, I've never heard of them, and just watching like the video that Steve has playing. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to check them out to see if they're anything worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I think it's weird. I think sometimes it's like, wait, there's other games you haven't released, but you're releasing these. But, as long as those don't totally get snubbed, it's sometimes nice to have, games that, a lot of people have never heard of, kind of resurface a little bit. And I'll probably, the cool thing is, it doesn't cost us anything beyond our membership already. So yeah, fire it up, play it for 5 minutes, you might enjoy it, sort of thing. So yeah, I know a lot of people were upset with this list of releases, but I'm not necessarily upset, but of course, I want some other games to come out. I'm sure Jakester hasn't commented about Earthbound yet, but
No,
there's a lot of
he's
bunch.
been upset for a while.
He's just stopped. He just knows. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it would be nice if they also brought some of those other games, and people are talking about it in the
Well,
chat as well. Like, it'd be nice to get a new system. Maybe
yes,
we'll, you know,
maybe tomorrow. But if you look at the NES and the SNES library, honestly, the majority, I'm not all, but the majority of the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo games, like the ones that they made, are already on the service now at this point. With now
yeah,
that the DKC trilogy's there, and then there are a lot of great third-party games on that system as well. And if you think of like big staple ones like Mega Man, like right, NES, SNES, you think of Mega Man games, those are never going to appear because there's the legacy collections. So those are already out of the
mm,
market. You think of Street Fighter. Why don't they put Street Fighter there when they have the Doomsday Warrior instead? Because there's the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection on the Switch. You're not going to see it go to that service because it already exists in another format.
that's a good point.
So a lot of these games, if they're going to appear on a compilation already, I don't think they're going to appear on this service. And maybe that's one of the things I'm hopeful for about Earthbound. Why isn't Earthbound there? Maybe we're going to get a mother collection, and that's why Earthbound isn't there. But and of course, that's not to say we're not going to get actual these games in other collections. But even if you look at Mario, they could have taken 3D All Stars and they could have put the ROM of Super Mario All Stars on there as well. Like, absolutely, they could have thrown that on there. No brainer. Like that ROM exists. They could have done it. They could have even done the one with Super Mario World, as they should have done on the Wii.
Mm,
But instead, they put All Stars on the SNES service. It's not in the compilation. It's on the service. They seem to be picking one or the other.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, between all those and what's already included, yeah, we're definitely not running out of games by any means
No,
because there's
but like
some,
all the
but
big
the
ones
big
are there.
ones,
Like
yeah,
Secret of Mana. Why isn't Secret of Mana on that service? Because it's part of the collection of Mana,
right,
so you can get it through another format.
yeah, yeah. Greg, did you have something?
Not really. I've just been
Okay.
listening to Barry's rant, and
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
It
hopefully,
just looked like you were thinking something. Sorry.
well, I mean, it'd be nice if the Earthbound, because I mean that was already done on Wii U, so like they've already localized it and everything. So I don't know why they wouldn't have put it on the service. So
Yeah, get beginnings there again and everything too. Yeah. So it'd be nice. Hopefully, we'll talk about that in just a little bit about our hopes for Nintendo Direct. But maybe tomorrow will be the time we get information about another system jumping on board to Switch Online. We'll see. Let's move forward and talk about this interesting story. I mean, there's not a whole lot here, but it is important to know that Nintendo and Microsoft have teamed up. And we use the word team, and it's important there because they're going to be using Microsoft Teams to offer a concierge service. So basically allows console owners to learn more about their system and actually ask questions, kind of an extension of Nintendo support, essentially. And they're going to be using Microsoft Teams. And so that's pretty much the story right there. But it is interesting that Nintendo and Microsoft have kind of come together on this. There is like a partnership there. This is not just them, saying, yeah, we're going to use Teams for our concierge service. There's a little bit of a partnership there. So that's just interesting, I think. And we don't, I mean, obviously I have not tried it yet. I don't even know if it's actually out yet. It might be out yet. Maybe we should try it sometime. But so the idea of, I'd like to just talk about maybe the idea behind what this is all about, and is this going to lead to anything else, or is this just like, dude, this happens all the time. There's no real story here. What do you think, Greg? Is there anything to this?
I don't know. Like, I feel like Nintendo keeps going on these unusual adventures, because like the 3DS, like they had made like that museum app, and then in the past there's like those McDonald's training videos on Game Boy or something. I forget which one that those are on, but
the DS had that on.
Yeah, maybe it was the DS, but it's almost like, why, or like who's really looking to kind of use this? And as a user of Teams for work, and I know Teams is not the best thing, so like not really excited at all about that. So I don't know. I don't think it's really meant for me, but that's great that they're able to bring this together and like come together and have this available for people that are going to need to use it for support. So
yeah. I guess when you lost all your, was it Wii games or Wii U games, would you have rather use Microsoft Teams to talk to them, or all the many conversations that you've had, or even Mario Kart? Like, you've had several experiences with Nintendo support. Would you rather use Microsoft Teams to talk to them, or just email them or call them?
I much prefer a phone, because you're actually talking to someone for the most part, but usually it starts with an email, and then you can set up a time to call or whatever. So I don't think Teams is the most outlook for that, at least on like a personal level. I mean, it's obviously best for businesses, as I use that for work. So I don't see like having a personal reason to use Teams outside of it. It's not like it's like a chat room. It's more meant for like really a group of people like working together on something as work. So
yeah. Barry, I'm interested. Do you think this is a good move to use Teams, or should they use the Switch app on their smartphone?
I think they forget that app even exists. No, I mean, my guess is they use Teams because they're currently using Teams internally anyway, while working from home. Like most people are using Teams or Zoom or something like that. And I don't think this is really like a big deal with Nintendo partnering with Microsoft just because Microsoft's providing the service. It's not like they're partnering with Xbox, which is a division of Microsoft. Microsoft, that'd be like, oh, well, the computers at Nintendo headquarters are running Windows. Like, okay, well, most PCs are running Windows. Like that's just the way it is. I think it's an interesting service. I don't see any fault in it. I mean, it's especially considering it's probably done by a completely different division than the games division. So it's not like this is taking resources away from anything else. Mm-hmm. This is really just an added function, an added way for them to communicate and connect with the gamers. I did find it weird that you only get one call. That was something I saw. Like, you get one call. Like, what? That's it?
Use it
Wow,
wisely.
thanks. Use it wisely. But a lot of times, Greg was mentioning like the Lou on the 3DS, which was for the museum, and then the McDonald's thing on the DS training. And they're not the only ones. Sony did it on the PSP with Hilton Family. And it's just games and services like that have been intermingling for a long time. It's just the public doesn't usually know about it because usually that stuff is not public knowledge until years later when it's discovered. So this is a cool little thing. I mean, I don't think it's bad or good. I'm a little more neutral on it, but it couldn't hurt. I'm just interested if people are gonna like stream their calls to like YouTube and stuff and like ask for like the stupidest things and like
Just do prank
and
calls
just
on
like prank calls on Nintendo and just see what comes of it. Because anytime you open up yourself to the customers, you're always going to get at least that one individual. It's just going to happen. I mean, I could call them and ask them if they do Virtual Boy support or something like that.
Okay.
Like, they're probably going to say no and hang up on me.
What I'm wondering is, can we also use it for Nintendo Power support? Will they offer me tips in the game?
I mean, they did that. They did
At
that for
$5.99
a long time.
That's right. Yeah. So it's interesting. Let us know if you guys end up calling and maybe recording it or whatever. Let us know in the comments as well. We'd love to hear what your experience with Nintendo Concierge on Microsoft Teams is like. One thing we want to hit before we talk about the Direct as well is that a lot of things are happening tomorrow. Like February 17th is a big day. So we got the NES and SNES games launched tomorrow. We got the Nintendo Direct, but we also, if you've been trying to stay on top of the Super Mario 3D Anniversary collector pins, if you qualified for all the different challenges that are out there, the reward code will be available tomorrow at noon Pacific time. So noon Pacific is when they'll make the reward codes available if you qualified. And we don't really know if it's going to go like it did for the last one. Will everybody definitely get them, or is it going to be only the certain people? But at the very least, at least they didn't jump the gun this time, and they have given us a time and a day that they will be available. What do you guys think about this? Did you? I know Greg's been you hit all 25 of the challenges that Barry and I think barely squeaked by getting 15. Did you get 15? Oh, you got.
No, I'm at 14.
Oh,
I can't.
no.
It's impossible for me to get 15.
I got 15 exactly. But Greg, what'd you get? 35 or something?
Well, first of all, there's only 22. And
you still got 35.
22. Well, yeah, because it's Mario's 35th anniversary.
That's right.
I did all the 13 secret missions.
Yeah.
No, I've only done 16 of them. I mean, I'm surprised that everybody hadn't hit a few more of them, but yeah. I know he just complains that they're like, oh, this one's already over and can't do this one.
Yeah. Well, it is a complaint. You don't advertise something where over you can't do it. You should make, if you want to do it that way, you make 15 of them that you can do, and then extra bonus ones that you could have done in advance.
Yeah. You could be like Jared. Jared got 22 out of 25 apparently.
There's only 22. How do you have 25?
He's also.
Where's those extra 3? I if there were 3 more, I could do it. Where are those extra 3? Give it to me.
So did you already do the Switch mission? You just open up the Mario 3D thing and get the QR code?
Yeah, I did that. I did everything that you can do. Everything else is
you did the
that.
newsletter?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep,
I wonder which one you missed that I got that you didn't.
I'll tell you exactly which ones I did not do. I did not participate in the Splatoon 2 Splatfest.
That was it.
I didn't participate in the Nintendo Versus Challenge and Smash. I didn't sign up for the challenge. I missed that in the December event. I missed that newsletter. I did not do a box lunch.
Mine counted after the fact. I saw it on. If you just go through My Nintendo, was like a mission to do the lunchbox thing, and mine credited the mission even though it was done after the date they said it was not allowed.
Oh, really?
You want to know
yeah,
something?
so
Maybe I can do it.
There you go. Maybe you can still
Maybe
qualify. You want something really weird is that these coasters that I got for Christmas for my wife actually came from the lunchbox thing. I didn't get the mission completed because I wasn't the one that went and shopped for him. My wife did. Like, man, I was so close, but so far away.
I don't even know where the mission will appear on this thing.
Actually,
It was
speaking of
much
my
easier
wife,
if you just go through My Nintendo directly and click on the mission to go to the website.
I did.
It just loads it on there.
as you guys are looking, I'm going to show this off too. I got this for my wife. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Isn't that cool?
I got that same thing for my daughter.
Did you really? Nice.
Yeah.
The chocolates inside and everything. So I had a very
Even though
Mario.
she always makes me player too, but
Oh, you know what? That worked.
Did it work?
That worked. That
You got
puts me at
15?
15.
Huzzah!
All right, I'm in the game, boys. Let's do this.
Nice. So there you go. There you go. Well, hopefully we'll get some pins tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But
I got the glitch in the system. He found the lunchbox one, even though it said it was over.
But yeah, if you qualified, you got at least 15. If you didn't get at least 15, maybe this, I don't know when you're gonna, if you're watching this after the fact or listening to this after the fact, you may have missed out already. But if you haven't, maybe check some of those other ones, see if you can still qualify. And if you do, good luck. Trying to get your code tomorrow. We'll see how we do, and I'm sure we'll be chatting in the in our Discord channel as well about all of that, our server as well. So yeah, but that's pretty much it in terms of the other news. But let's talk about the big thing. We woke up this morning to this announcement from Nintendo that we actually are getting a Nintendo Direct on February 17th of all days. So as Hassan pointed out earlier in our chat room, the tradition continues. Over a year later, we are back into the tradition that our podcast as usually happens, and then Direct the next day. So it took us a while, but we're back on top of it. But yeah, live stream, roughly 50 minutes, focusing on information about games that are going to be coming out, like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So probably information about the new fighters that are coming out and other games that are coming to Switch in the first half of 2021. So that's that way they've told us that is the specific goal, is they're going to talk about first half of 2021 games. So probably not moving, later. We have no idea if that means, new games or just covering stuff we've already heard about. But also before we chat about this, before we share our predictions and things like that, it's also, I think it's very important that we note that there's also going to be a Chex Mix Direct on February 30th. So yeah, that's really, really important because they're going to actually show off 50 minutes of Breath of the Wild 2 footage where Link basically just straight up eats Chex Mix for most of the time. And they also announced that they're going to getting Chex Mix DLC in Smash. So that's incredibly important to note as well. So. But what do you guys think about this? It's finally Nintendo Direct time again. So we'll of course cover all of it and have a good long discussion about it in our next podcast. But what do you think we're gonna see? What's your predictions? What do you think is gonna happen tomorrow in this Direct? That is Jakester correctly 530 days?
Yeah,
has it been almost
September,
2 years?
September 2019.
Wow, that's a lot. I didn't realize it was almost 2 years. That's ridiculous, man. So, Greg, what do you think? What do you think we're gonna see? Almost 2 years in the making.
Well, we're definitely getting a Smash Brothers fighter now. Yeah, we obviously already know that. They've basically spelled it out for us with their little blurb. Honestly, I'm really hoping to. I know there's focus on the first half, but I would love to have information on Breath of the Wild 2. I'm really thinking we're not going to get that information since it's not releasing in the first half. So maybe it'll be something tied to the Legend of Zelda anniversary, and they'll announce some sort of anniversary collection pack or 2-pack or whatever. There's some sort of port of Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, something, or even like a Skyward Sword up HD or something. I'm thinking something definitely Zelda is gonna have to come to pull us over for the 35th, or not 35th. Is it 35th? Maybe.
Yep, 35.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking definitely something Zelda is going to be announced.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the very beginning of our chat room and look up Jared's predictions. He's got a lot here, so kind of just read through those. He says he thinks that we'll have a nice send off to Mario's anniversary with another trailer and probably a mention of 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Just kind of like, say, hey, by the way, this game came out. You should get it. Which, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like to do that. Yep, yeah. Doing that. Did you know that Bowser's Fury just released on the Nintendo Switch on February 12th? No, I did not know that. I live under a rock.
And then says, along with that, we'll get a trailer for the Mario stuff in Animal Crossing. That makes a lot of sense as well. Get a Smash Brothers character announcement, and it'll be another heavy hitter, he says. And then after that, we'll get an announcement for a direct that character for Friday. Oh, okay. So like showing off more information about that specific Smash character is probably going to be happening maybe as early as Friday, which that would totally make sense. They've been doing that for the last several characters. Then some Pokemon stuff for their anniversary as well. They'll save the big Pokemon announcement maybe to the Pokemon Company themselves, but he's thinking another trailer with a release date for No More Heroes 3 and Bayonetta 3. That'd be interesting to finally hear about those games. And also a sizzle reel of some sort with indie and third-party games. Feels like there could be a KH. Why am I blanking on what that is? KH.
Kingdom Hearts.
That's it. Kingdom Hearts. I kept thinking Killer Instinct. I'm like, that's not right. KI. Killer Instinct would be awesome.
It's close.
Yeah.
Just one letter off.
Yeah. But I doubt it. Same goes for Metroid Prime 4. Yep. And then lastly, will be them kicking off Zelda's anniversary, like Greg was saying, with the Breath of the Wild 2, and maybe some remakes along with giving us a teaser of stuff to come out around March, and similar to how they did with Mario's anniversary. So yeah, I think a lot of that makes sense. Some of it maybe a little bit of stretch, but I think a lot of that definitely makes sense. Barry, what do you think about tomorrow? What are you expecting?
Definitely a Smash character because I called it out. My prediction, I would still love to see Rex and Adam, and Pyra and Mithra. I do think that is going to happen. I also think there's a possibility that it's going to be Akira from Astral Chain, since now the IP is officially owned by Nintendo. That could have been a hint towards getting the characters into Smash. I mean, there's already Spirits, so that's just a prediction there. As for like the sizzle reel, I definitely expect the sizzle reel. I expect Persona 5 Strikers to be on there, and Bravely Default 2, two big games that launch next week. I do expect... I didn't really think about the Kingdom Hearts thing, but that would make sense since they just announced, was it last week, that it's going to the Epic Game Store or something like that. So it would make sense that, hey, while we're announcing this, we're also going to announce a Switch version. And people are like, why not a Switch version? Maybe they were saving it for the Direct, since we just got the Melody Kingdom Hearts game on Switch. It would make sense to put them all there. That's a good one. And very believable. I would like to see Zelda stuff. I kind of don't think we're going to see it at the same time. What makes me lean towards us possibly seeing it is the fact that it's 50 minutes. If it was 25 minutes, I would say no. But I also think they're going to want to give Zelda its own direct like they did Mario. Maybe Metroid as well and Pokemon. I do think that Pokemon's going to have a Pokemon Company Direct that
Yeah.
they've been having lately. Maybe
Yeah,
just a
there was
teaser.
news.
Maybe a teaser for the Zelda one too. And I could be wrong, but I do think they're going to do a special one just for Zelda, especially with it coming the second half. Probably most likely Breath of the Wild 2. They'll probably do a fall anniversary. New Pokemon Snap will probably be shown off again.
Yeah.
And the Animal Crossing update with the Mario items, since they said that was coming in March. But when asked, we'll probably see a Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2 quick thing as well. But when asked recently about what about the first half of this year, and all they talked about was Mario 3D World, Monster Hunter Rise, and new Pokemon Snap. I think Bravely Default 2 they talked about as well. Like, that's it. All games we know about, and 2 of those came from third parties. So maybe we've got some more surprises. Maybe a new system going to Nintendo Switch Online. Maybe they won't raise our price. Maybe we'll get N64. But even N64, you look at some of the bigger games, and it's like, well, Mario 64 is off that service now because it's part of the 3D All Stars. So you take away Mario 64. If they're doing the Zelda collection, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are a part of that. You're stripping Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. That's your 3 big, headers for N64 for the general public. I'm not saying those are the best games on the system, but those are the ones people are going to really be looking for. Star Fox 64, I don't think is going to do it as much since that game's been re-released, multiple times. Smash Brothers, they have Smash Ultimate. The rare games, I don't know if they could put the rare games. Rare was the big case at the N64. Mario Kart 64, but again, a lot of those courses are in now Mario Kart 8. So I don't really think N64. I think maybe GameCube. I think they might skip the N64. Really? I mean, again, GameCube's in the same boat. What are the big Mario Sunshine is out, and take Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Most likely we're going to get the HD versions of them, so you take those out. You got Four Swords Adventures you could do for Zelda. The Metroid Prime trilogy is most likely happening, so that takes those off of the service. You've got some great games still. You got the Bait and Kados games, which would be fantastic to be there. You've got maybe Skies of Arcadia, Legends from Sega. There's still Eternal Darkness. Let's see that come back. Star Fox Adventures. There's still some great GameCube games, of course, but like a lot of the big heavy hitters, a lot of the ones are most likely going to be in compilations or already in compilations. And like I was just talking about before, I don't think you're going to see much of an overlap with that. They're not going to be like, oh, well, thanks for buying the Mario 3D All Stars. Here's Mario 64 for free. People would be like, what the heck? Is this why you're taking it away? Because you're going to give it to us for free. What about those of us that just bought the game? They're not going to do that. So I maybe Game Boy. I'm going to say if there's going to be another system, it's going to be Game Boy. Because that at least doesn't have as much pulled from. But yeah, I don't know. It's been so long. It's like I almost forgot what a Nintendo Direct's like.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to see a teaser of Breath of the Wild 2. I think they're going to want to save that for E3 because they did confirm E3 is happening as a digital event this year. And therefore, Nintendo is perfect for that. They've done the Treehouse digitally already in 2020, as well as Nintendo Directs. So since that's going to be a case, I think we're going to see Nintendo at E3 again doing another digital event, and I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be saved for that. Honestly,
yeah, they'll want to make that big for sure. Yeah, I think I said before in our predictions. I think the next system they're going to add is most likely it's maybe Game Boy. I'm thinking more Game Boy Advance, actually. I think the GBA is what they'll jump to before they
do both.
Game Boy. They could totally do both. I would almost say that, like, if we do see some of the 64 games or GameCube games, I'd almost think that they'll release them as like downloadable games that you can just buy on the eShop at a discounted rate, or collections, things like that. I think that's maybe the better way to go for those games. But add Game Boy and GBA, and a lot of people will be happy. And it definitely opens. There's a lot of people that haven't played those games too, and it falls more in the at least what we would like to think as classic games. I don't think we're at the point where we are willing to admit that N64 and GameCube are classic yet, but I know people younger than us would say so. But
you know what I would actually like to see? I would like to see a catalog of Game & Watch, like every Game & Watch put out, just every one you could play, like they did the museums and the Game & Watch galleries, and maybe put both versions if they did have a updated version with the Mario characters, but like just every Game & Watch let you play through. I think that would be fascinating, because not that they're the greatest games, but they're an often forgotten part of Nintendo's history, and a very important part of it as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think as well. I think you guys are right. I think we're not going to see a whole lot of Zelda stuff. If we do at all, it's going to be maybe like a teaser, and they're going to say, "Hey, coming soon, we're going to have a Zelda, direct." That is going to focus all on the 35th anniversary stuff, and we'll probably, I think, at that point get those collections and HD remakes and things like that we've talked about for sure. But yeah, I don't think I would doubt that they're going to show off Breath of the Wild 2. I mean, unless they actually have it ready to launch the first half of 2021, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely.
Yeah, so maybe the Metroid Prime collection. I think that could be something we could see tomorrow and announced, and I don't think that would be too difficult to pull off early 2021. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we don't really know a lot about what has already been announced, so maybe we're going to get some surprises tomorrow. Some other people, I think Jakester had mentioned as well, he was thinking maybe some information on Shin Megami Tensei as well. Maybe there'll be some news around that. Yeah, I think... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you guys think it's going to be a first-party or third-party character for Smash? Because I feel like we've had a lot of third-party
I already called it.
You think it's first party? Yeah.
I said it's either going to be Rex or Adam with Pyra Mithra, or it's going to be Akira from Astro Chain. Male and female versions.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm still holding on to Master Chief. I don't think it's going to happen, but I really don't know.
You said that so confidently, though.
Yeah, right. I think, I don't know. Maybe Crash has a chance. I mean, we are getting Crash Bandicoot 4, so maybe Crash. That could be a good tie-in, because that game's coming out soon. So I don't know.
Do we think it's going to be another Fire Emblem character?
I
know how many people would just
really
love to...
Oh my god. No. Like, I enjoy Fire Emblem. I'm happy that there's representation, but there's more Nintendo IP that need more representation than Fire Emblem does at this point.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, I agree,
like, if anyone
I just know Sakurai loves it, so I was just...
I know, yeah.
Because they even threw out the joke, like, oh, there's so many characters use swords and so many Fire Emblem characters. So I was just waiting for him to be like, oh, well, here's Eldegard or Dimitri or whatever from Three Houses.
Right. Could happen. But
no, I don't think it will. People will be pissed. Now, I don't see a problem with it being in a new base game, but as paid DLC, I see...
Totally.
Like they let Byleth slide, and the only reason they let Byleth slide is because they announced 6 more fighters. That's
so
you notice when they announced Byleth, they announced that as well. Like, they did that because they knew people were going to be upset.
Yeah. If it is first party, I mean, other than Astral Chain, who else could they grab that they haven't grabbed yet that should be in Smash?
I mean, a lot of people...
I told you, Rex and Pyra.
Okay. What's up? What was that, Greg?
I was saying a lot of people still want Waluigi in there, even though he's an assist trophy.
That would be interesting.
He does have quite a big backing to put in. I personally don't care if he's in there or not. I know I already said it in the chat, but I would be surprised if they actually listen to the fans for once and actually put him in.
Yeah.
Next Smash Brothers. Next one. He's gonna be right the cover, right the
new
laughing
Ultimate.
Manow. Ultimate 2.
Yeah. At this point, there's so many characters already. Sometimes it's hard to think like who else could they stick in. Like how many?
There's
how
tons
many
of
are we at?
characters.
I mean, of course they can, but I mean like of like that quality, like that big name characters. Like, but at the same time, I mean, I know it's not all like characters like Mario and Link and Sonic.
Yeah.
But it seems like, I mean, clearly there's a lot of characters still, but there's so many of them already in the game. It's kind of getting crazy at this point.
Here's one of my things to go along with my hopes of Rex and Pyra and all that is Monolith Soft, which has been very, very instrumental to Nintendo's success with the Switch. I mean, they helped with Breath of the Wild. They're most likely assisting with Breath of the Wild too. One of the biggest games they had last year was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which did really well. So we might see a tease for Xenoblade 3 and or another Wii U port in Xenoblade Chronicles X coming over this year as a port. And to tie it in, here's more representation in Smash.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think? I mean, with the focusing on early 2021 though, like they wouldn't be like or would it just be like really it's the Smash character? And we're also going to let you know that we're working on this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a Chronicles X port could be early. I mean, they finished. When did Xenoblade Chronicles come out? Was it May? I think it was May last year.
Like
so early. It's the first half of 2021. So May is still early first half. May, June. So they could technically have. It's a Wii U port too, so it's not a full game, and it doesn't have to be remade. So they could just do an enhanced port and have it ready to go with a small team for June 2021, which is technically still the first half of the year, and have that go with that, and then still tease maybe Xenoblade 3 because they're definitely working on a third game. That was the whole point of Future Connected.
Yeah. Would they go as far to say, hey, by the way, we got a Switch Pro coming?
That's another thing they could do. They could drop that on us. It's 50 minutes. Remember, we never had one this long before. Even E3 ones are like 35 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know.
It just means that all the stuff they were sitting on and didn't show us over the last year.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all the
stuff we wanted to tell you. We wanted to release and show it to you last year, but here's the stuff we actually have. I mean,
yeah.
I'm even kind of hoping to actually see Pikmin 4 because like the way that Pikmin 3 ends and everything, and with them releasing Deluxe, that maybe 4 was actually closer to just see if there's interest in Pikmin, and Pikmin 3
really
is
good.
sold quite a lot too.
Maybe that's a clue to the GameCube going to the Nintendo Switch Online, and that's why Pikmin 1 and 2 weren't included with 3 as they should have been.
Could be, or they're just gonna make a collection to help celebrate 4.
Yeah, they could do that. But, I just hope that they don't get there and they talk for too long. Like, I really hope, the president doesn't come out and talk for 5-10 minutes. Like, no, just give us games for 50 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I hope this is action-packed. I hope it's like a bunch of stuff back to back to back. And as Jared said, they found the hard drive with the last 2 directs on it. They're like, oh, well, that was 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes here, and let's make a new one, 50 minutes long. Put them all together.
I know it would be Steve's favorite if they hire the voice actress that did the owl from Spider-Man.
Gone for sure. Reggie took him by accident. That's funny, Jared. He just shipped him back. Hey, I found this in my stuff I took from the office. My bad.
Oopsie.
We'll see stuff that's already come out tomorrow.
So I almost sold this laptop with them to Russia.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got a meeting at the same time. It's kind of an odd time to put a direct. Like usually they're like early in the morning, late at night, right in the middle of the afternoon. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to watch it live, which is really sad because I got a meeting already at that time.
Stay off the internet.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's more their obscure announcements. I feel like the Labo is around that time of day, but like the normal like directs for games, like you said, have been like whatever 9 in the morning or whatever. So
yeah,
it is a rather unusual time for a full-length direct.
Yeah, yeah. But for those of you guys that are available, want to chat about it throughout the entire event, or maybe just while you can as well, be sure to jump on our Discord. We have a channel in there called Events, and that's what you guys that's what it's there for you guys to just chat away. I know that you get a lot of people are going to be in there and tell you about your thoughts and feelings about what's announced and your disappointments and your excitements and everything. So if you've not joined our Discord, now's the time to do it so you can jump in that conversation as well. We have it tomorrow, even after the fact. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna jump in there after the fact and see what everybody like. Maybe I'll just kind of like scroll through and try to match it with real time when I do watch it, so that I can see what you guys think about all the announcements. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's kind of weird that year and a half later we're finally getting another Nintendo Direct. We're almost out of practice, so it'd be fun to jump back into that tomorrow. But before we wrap up or getting in closer to the end of this week's podcast, there's a couple just other quick headlines that we want to cover before we start wrapping up. And I think Greg, you got the first one. Is that right? Am I remembering correctly?
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
Cool. Tell us about something I teased a little bit about earlier.
All right, so Crash Bandicoot 4 is going to be coming onto the Switch in March. So the fourth installment will be dropped on March 12th, 2021. And there's like a trailer and everything that we have on our site for you guys to watch if you guys want to see what it's about. And pretty much all the way back in August, we had reported that this could be possibly coming, and now it's actually for real. So look out for Crash Bandicoot 4 in March.
Cool.
Speaking of Reggie stealing laptops and all that, in a recent interview with Gamertag Radio, he mentioned about when he first saw the DS and how amazing it was, and he got the same type of feeling with the Switch, that he felt it was going to be magical, and he was so happy that it was such a success because it did actually make his retirement that much easier, because no one wants to see a CEO or a president leave when a company is failing, but when the company is doing really well, it's a lot easier just to leave and know, like, hey, you know what, I'm leaving, and I'm leaving the company in good hands and in good standing, and I'm going out ahead.
Cool.
So I know we kind of talked about a potential Pokemon teaser for the Direct tomorrow, but it was earlier this week, it was announced that the Pokemon team has teamed up with Post Malone for a special virtual music concert on February 27th. And then they'll be setting the foot for the 25th anniversary. So pretty much there's a nice musical celebration like they've done for Zelda, but this time with Pokemon. The pop culture brand broke news will help headliner Pokemon in a video that will be seen here, taking place on Saturday, February 27th, better known as Pokemon Day. The event will be an online party, and not just for Pokemon fans, but also for music fans all around the world. So pretty much it'll just be a nice big concert for everyone to enjoy some awesome Pokemon music, and I'm sure we'll have some more details as it comes up. So.
Is Post Malone connected to Pokemon in some way? Is that a thing I should know?
I don't think so.
Well, speaking of special events, remember those things called movies? You used to go to a theater and actually see them? The very last movie I actually saw in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog, which came out almost just over a year ago on Valentine's Day of 2020. Well, Sega has announced they've come up with a very thought-provoking and very detailed title for the sequel, which will be coming in April 2022. They're actually calling it, and this is a really stretch, they're calling it Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yes, that is the actual official name. Who would have thought? Obviously, if you're looking at the logo, you can see Tails in the 2, which makes sense if you saw the teaser at the end of the movie. And of course, if you're following the video game, Sonic 2 is where Tails was introduced. But yes, April 22. April 8th, 2020. Or 2022. There we go. Yeah, so I have to say. So that's when you're going to see it. let's see how good it is. Hopefully, it is a good movie. But yeah, that's what they're calling it. No subtitle or anything. They're super original. I got to give them props, man. That's an original title.
This it is, and maybe we can actually go to a theater by 2022.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be kind of interesting. What a bookmark. The last movie I see is Sonic 1, and the first movie back is Sonic 2.
Would be really interesting. I never would have guessed that. For sure.
Well, maybe it'll be a direct-to-DVD like other sequels have been, like the Disney's movies.
No, they say theaters. They
do.
Provided theaters still exist in a year.
That's the real thing. Oh, I miss the theater.
I know.
Back in the day, back when we had movie theaters. Anyway, before we
just get one ticket.
That's right. Before we move into what we're going to be playing over the next week, I do want to just remind you guys, if you have not subscribed, if you haven't hit the bell, if you haven't liked this video on YouTube, we would just be grateful if you just hit those buttons and also share it with other people that enjoy Nintendo content, gaming content. We would love to just continue to expand our community here. Also, if you've not followed us on social media, you can do that at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and of course, be sure to join our Discord. All those links are going to be in the show notes, the description here on YouTube, but also on the screen right now as well. And yeah, we'd love to have you jump into the conversations in between the episodes. We have a lot of fun over there in our Discord. But yeah, let's look at what's going to be coming out over this next week. A few games that maybe be on some people's lists, like Thomas Was Alone, big game. It's an indie game that's coming out. Ski Jump Challenge is also coming out, which I think is a prequel to Barry's favorite game, Ski Sniper.
I was going to say, can you snipe him in this game?
Yeah. And then Persona 5 Strikers is coming out, and a little game that I thought was interesting is Taxi Chaos. Almost kind of seems like maybe a spiritual sequel to Taxi. What's the name?
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi.
Sega is publishing it in Japan, so it might be
interesting. So yeah, of these games, maybe there's something else. What are you guys hoping to play over this next week? Greg, let's go to you first.
Well, actually, based on I was reviewing the list right before the podcast, and I was very interested in Thomas Was Alone, that I've already pre-ordered it. So
nice.
I'm definitely going to be playing that one. I was also looking into Cathedral. That looked very interesting as well. That reminded me a lot of Shovel Knight, but Knight with an actual sword. So that one does kind of push those same buttons that Shovel Knight did. And then pretty much other than that, it'll just be like getting games off the backlog. There's still so many games that I'm still catching up on that I missed when they first came out and everything like that. So we still have to play Age of Calamity, still need to play Phoenix Rising, still want to finish Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Pokemon Sword. There's just so much going on, so many games to play.
Yeah, for sure. Jakester says in the chat he's hoping to get back into Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That's cool. Yeah, let us know what you guys are hoping to play over this next week in the chat or in the comments later. Barry, how about you?
For the remainder of this week, I plan to mainly just focus on Final Fantasy XIV, and also probably jump just to mess around with 3D World a little bit, just to see how it feels. But by this time next week, I will be playing Persona 5 Strikers. Absolutely, that is the game I'm looking forward to next, and I cannot wait.
Nice. Jared says he's going to play some more Control and 3D World. Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on the 3D World. I'll be playing a little more of that. Hopefully, by this point next week, I'll have 100%ed Bowser's Fury as well, and play a little more with 3D World. That's probably one of those games that I'll like casually play and eventually beat. But it's just since it's a remake, I'm not jumping on to beat it right away. And then probably hoping to jump back into Spider-Man again, get back into that game, and maybe back into to Hyrule Warriors. It's been a while since I played it. definitely one of those that I need to get back into and eventually beat. So maybe I'll spend some time with those over the next week. Of course, I'm going to be playing Rocket League, so that's just a no-brainer. Maybe I'll fire up Animal Crossing. We'll see. I totally missed the festival event. Forgot about it.
Rewind time
altogether. So yeah, maybe I'll play with time hopping, or maybe I don't care. I don't know. I think I've almost moved on. I'll enjoy the Mario stuff, but I think I'm almost at the point where I'm beyond, Animal Crossing, and now I'll start logging in every once in a while and have weeds everywhere and cockroaches in my houses and my neighbors yelling at me for not being around for the last 2 months. Yeah, I feel like it's about the same time when all this is going to happen. It's almost been a year, so it's been a good run. So, but yeah, it looks like Jakester missed it too. So yeah, it definitely one of those things that I totally forgot. Happy Pancakes Day, Roth. What is this, officially Pancakes Day, or is this an Animal Crossing connection? Roth's like,
no, it's Pancakes Day.
Is it officially Pancakes Day? Man, yeah. I missed Festival. I didn't celebrate Pancakes Day today. I guess I still got time to make some pancakes, so maybe I'll make some later.
You're missing the Nintendo Direct Live tomorrow.
I know. What's up with this? Like, man, it's just going downhill fast. Who knows where we'll be next week, guys.
I also wanted to throw in, I hope you don't get turned off from too many side quests in Bowser's Fury, so you have to complete it a year later.
It's so much shorter than Xenoblade, though. Yeah.
Now, next podcast, if you don't show up on camera wearing like a pancake over your face with like little eye holes and a mouth hole, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yes. Well, then it'd be too late. I'll have to time hop there to celebrate Pancake Day.
You could say you're from the past.
Yeah, I could.
It's past.
I could. Oh man, it's been great to talk with you guys about games. It was tough taking a week off, but glad to be back this episode. Yeah, went a little longer today, but yeah, we had to make up some time for the last 2 weeks. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and thanks for everybody joining in the chat room. We had some awesome, lively conversation tonight. Jakester and Jared and Dave and Roth and Hassan, and I'm sure I'm missing other people in there as well. Jared, Jesse. Yeah, we had a lot of people just chatting in the chat room tonight. It's been awesome to see all your thoughts and everything. Again, if you've not joined us live, you're missing out. So we appreciate you guys watching and listening later, but you're missing out if you're not joining us live. So try to make that happen next time. We are back on. As far as and if nothing crazy happens, we'll be back next Tuesday, February 23rd, and mostly talking about the Nintendo Direct next time. So make sure you watch that ahead of time. You guys can join in and let us know what your thoughts are about that. We'll recap it and share our thoughts on episode 222, which would be, like I said, next week on February 23rd, recording live. But until then, thanks again for joining us, and happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
Happy gaming. See you next time.